Wake up with Patti Katter.
I love the show.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
I turn it on and turn it up.
You're listening to and watching Wake Up with Patti Katter. I am your hostess, Patti Katter. Today, I have Joseph Rob Cobasky on the show, and I am very excited to have him on. He's definitely a different kind of a guest than I've had on probably ever. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, so one day I was scrolling on social media and Joseph's pictures started popping up on my Facebook saying, this might be somebody you know. And it was this man with a huge werewolf looking thing. And I was like, who is this? And I don't know him, but I want to know him. So I started stalking your profile a little bit and looked at all your pictures and amazing work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Joseph. So what would we even call you? You're a monster maker or what?
Well, I used to, I guess you'd call me a monster maker. My friends, when I'm in the group, I got another friend, his name's Rob. And so they call me Effects Rob.
That's a good, yeah, I was thinking like special effects. Your work is amazing. Those of you who watch right now, you can see a couple of Joseph's monsters in the background. Do you ever sleep in your studio?
Do I ever sleep in my
your
studio?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I have, they're right outside the door and stuff like that. I have a studio outside my house and a little corner in the living room here so I can hang out with my two dogs and my wife and watch TV and mingle and work on my art and stuff like that. And now and then I'll walk into the room when I just finish a new character, like this guy right here. I'm used to him being in the living room now, but when I first finished him for a couple of days, I would walk in and get startled and wonder who's sitting in my house.
Yeah. I mean, I've been startled by a mannequin before. I can't imagine running into one of these guys and, waking up in the middle of the night to go grab a glass of water and you have them staring at you.
Yeah.
So what does your wife think of these things?
My wife's used to it now. I can't even ask for an opinion anymore because she's just so used to it. So I have to go outside the house and ask a friend or somebody on Facebook for an opinion because she can't. She's just so used to it. It's her everyday routine now. So
wow. So I have to ask you. I ask all of my guests if you can tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and how you grew up. So I'm very interested in your background. Yeah.
Well, let's see. When I was a kid, I was one of those kids that played with Play-Doh and stuff like that, and Lincoln logs and erector sets. And I was always working with my hands in the living room while mom and dad watched TV and stuff. And then I don't know why I gravitated towards monsters. I just, it's just like you can't ask somebody why they like, a flavor. They just like it. So as a kid, I just remember doing a lot of drawing and of cereal boxes and monsters, and then Planet of the Apes came and King Kong and all that stuff, the black and whites and everything, and I was just really fascinated. Like a little kid's fascinated with Jurassic Park nowadays, the dinosaurs. I was really into the King Kongs and the Planet of the Apes and the Draculas and the werewolves and Frankensteins.
Wow.
And so then, growing up into school, getting into grade school and everything, I just kind of excelled in art and won an art contest in fifth grade. Something like that, and won a field trip to go paint all the windows at the shopping malls and everything. So I was well on my way to, realizing I had this art thing, this art thing when I was a little kid. And then when I got into high school, my art teacher was a sculpture artist. And I was very fascinated by that. He turned me on to that in high school. I think I was a freshman in high school, and I never drew again. Just started sculpting, and was because I'm using my hands now and building like I built the little erector sets and Play-Doh when I was a kid. It's all coming back, and to this day, I'll build things. I like to build airplanes. I'm an airplane nut, stuff like that, but that doesn't pay the bills. That costs money. So I try to stay in my art and get myself better, so that I can get into the really big money, for lack of better description, but land a big fish and get on a really big movie set and stuff like that. I started sculpting and doing my own art shows and stuff like that. And then about 8, 9, 10 years ago, I decided to maybe take all that I've learned about anatomy and sculpting and everything into film and learn hyper realistic techniques and painting prosthetics and creating characters and changing people into monsters and stuff like that. And then so I got myself into some social media groups on Facebook, and met a bunch of friends and everything. And there's just kind of learned the school of hard knocks way, and got screwed a couple times and picked myself back up, and take all the knowledge that I've learned in the past and try again. And I'm trying to better myself through social media and gathering lots of people that are into this, gathering an audience. And then now that I have an audience, I'm starting to get work in film. And here I am. You found me because I made the werewolf to try and attract more people like you. And now talking with you, and your audience is going to know somebody, and they're going to reach out to me. And this is, how I did it. And that's kind of it in a nutshell.
It's amazing. Have you ever scared yourself with some of your creations?
No, I haven't. That's a good question. I've never scared myself. I've seen some things that I accidentally will make, and I won't like it, and I'll archive it or abandon it. And then 6 months later, I'll walk by and see it in a different light and just amaze myself at how I thought, it was terrible. And now I really like it. And I don't know where I'm going with this conversation, but
man, well,
I learn lots of things about myself every day.
Yeah. I mean, that werewolf, the one that's your profile photo right now, is so real. Like, it feels to me, just even in a picture, it feels like it could just hop off of that table any second. He's just waiting for his move or something. He's real creepy. And I get scared kind of easy, though.
I'll do you.
I know I've played pranks before on my husband, and he's played pranks on me, and we think it's hilarious to scare each other.
Yeah.
Have you scared a friend intentionally with any of your pieces?
Yeah, I'll come around the corner, stuff like that. But it's funny you ask. I have some friends that are cops, and I asked them, can I go to jail for, doing a prank? And he goes, no, it's a prank. He goes, you can't, if the ambulance and fire department, and the whole city's called and they show up, there might be a little trouble. But so I'm trying to figure out how I can do a prank without going to jail, because my stuff could hurt somebody. It could get me hurt, it could get somebody else hurt. I don't. So you got to kind of be careful with that. But I've had some thoughts of trying to maybe do some kind of a roadside roadkill thing with my werewolf out in the middle of nowhere and set up some cameras and see how somebody would react coming up to a werewolf in the middle of nowhere. But, I don't want to hurt anybody, but it would be kind of fun.
It would be really fun. You could just scare a friend of a friend. So you could have one of your friends help set it up. So it wouldn't be a complete stranger.
I never thought of that. Prearrange it, right? That's a good idea. That way, we can keep it safe.
Yeah. And my listeners don't know this because I've never talked about this topic before, but my husband was a police officer, and I bought this mannequin head at a garage sale. One day I was passing this garage sale and I looked and I had noticed this weird looking mannequin head. So I thought it was hilarious. And I ended up putting it on a broomstick and like dressing it all up like a person. And he worked third shift and he came home in the middle of the night and there's this freaky lady standing at our door. And I could hear him on the other side of the door. I was listening and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing there?" And he hit the lady, or the mock-up lady, and her head went flying off. And it was hilarious. And then he took that to work, the mannequin head, and he put it in his buddy's locker. So when he opened the door, the head's sitting there, things like that's really fun.
Yes. I was, it's a funny story. You reminded me as you was telling me that. We were scouting some big buildings because I used to be in the haunted house industry for a while and stuff. And we were scouting out this really big building that I apparently had been a haunted house at one time. And it was kind of scary. And I was walking in these back rooms and these panels were off and stuff. And I went and looked up and there was a mannequin head up there staring right at me. And I remember that scared me pretty good and stuff. So I know what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness. So one of the questions I ask every single guest on my show is, can you think of a trial that you've had in your life and how did you overcome that trial? Whatever it is, whatever part of your life you want to talk about.
A trial. Well, that I've had a lot of them, and I feel like that's kind of like, when you say trial, I associate it with negativity and stuff. And I guess I got to try not to associate it with that. But like we've all had trials and stuff like, divorces or, losing a dog or, I love my dog, stuff like that. Trial. So I'll try to keep it a positive and talk about like, getting a trial in this and that probably, I'm going to say, when I first started getting into the film and everything, I would try to get with people that are better than me. And I did. I felt like I did. And I agreed to do everything for just the cost of the materials so that I could have a chance and have some footage for a reel and stuff like that. And that never happened. And that almost made me that and a few other things almost made me kind of want to get out of film and all that and go back to just doing my own thing and everything. But I took a little hiatus for a little while and decided, what, I want to do this. So I'm going to go about it differently now and picked my stuff back up and, put my skates back on, got back on the rink and everything. And doing much better now, applying what I learned and stuff like that. So that was a pretty challenging stuff. It
is. I was just talking to another guest, and he was talking about kind of the same thing. He came to a point in his career where he had to decide: is he going to try it again or just let it rest? But it was so heavy on his heart, and it was such a passion that he went ahead and pursued it, and he's doing phenomenal things now.
Okay. Now let me interrupt you right there. Mm-hmm. So listening to you tell me that story and everything, the ones that, so like if you really have the love for it and it's really in here and you just love to do it, those are the ones that are going to pick themselves back up and continue to do it. And the ones that are in it for all the wrong reasons and everything, those are the ones that are going to drop off. So that's me. I really love it. So for all of you out there, I do it for the love mostly. You know, the money that comes after it would be nice and all. I, of course, would like to make a living at it. But, you know, I'm already kind of making a living before I got into this. So I won't let that go so that I can do this. But I'm getting to the point now to where I'm pretty much almost ready to let go of my day job because this is starting to make more money now. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm sorry for rambling on. And
You're great. You're doing fantastic.
I have to say it while I'm remembering it or I'll forget it.
Yeah, like us all. I have notes in front of me.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
wow.
Am I answering all your questions right?
Yeah, you are amazing. Anytime
Okay.
I ever have a question, if I'm not getting where I want, I'll ask it a different way. So
Okay.
you're doing great.
right.
So if somebody were watching this right now and they're thinking that they need somebody to make monsters for their film or whatnot, how would people contact you?
Mostly people find me like you found me. So they would contact me through, you know, the social media, the Facebook, the Instagram, you know, all my, you know, you can instant message me through any of those outlets or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Facebook, Instagram, follow me there. Joseph Rob Cobasky, that's my name. I go by Rob, but I answer to Joseph also.
Okay. So I'm going to also have your links on my social media so that people can find you. And if you're out there listening and for some reason you're not getting through to Rob, just contact me and I'll get a hold of him because I have a direct way to get a hold of him for sure.
Thank you for doing that.
Sometimes, you know, social media will put somebody's messages in their spam or whatever.
Mhm.
So if for any reason you can't get a hold of them, definitely let me know and I'll put you in contact. Now, Rob, what's next for you? Do you have any ideas on what you want to do next?
What's next for me? Well, I have a lot of, because of social media, I have a lot of people out there that are eyeballing me and they have projects coming up. So they're trying to, you know, communicate with me and bring me all into their projects and stuff like that. And there's a lot of that going on. I've got about 4 or 5 people out there that have featured films that are communicating with me about their concepts and ideas and stuff like that. In fact, I've got a concept maquette I'm sculpting over there on the table right now. There's 2 1/6 scale maquettes that I'm sculpting right now for a gentleman in New York that is getting ready to make a movie. And it's got a monster in it. And he's explaining to me what the monster does, where he lives, how heavy he is, how old he is, what his weapons are, blah, 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 blah. And then he gives me any concept drawings he's had done, this and that. And I take all that info and I make a sculpture and I show this guy and he says, yeah, more muscle here, bigger hands, he's taller, blah, 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 blah. He'll tweak. And then he and we hone this all in and everything. And then when it's all the way he wants it, I bake it hard, bring it out, paint it, add the hair, clothing, you know, detail, stuff like that, and I ship it over to him. And he's going to set that in the middle of the table of his meeting and have a meeting with his crew. And so the crew is all on the same page looking at this maquette. And, you know, I learned that there's going to be some big names around that table. And it kind of put chills down my back the other day when he was telling me who's going to be sitting around that table staring at this maquette that I'm making for this guy. So it's pretty exciting, man. I'm getting there. I'm getting real close, man. I can smell it.
You are. You're amazing. Your work is incredible and it's so lifelike. If you're watching this too, I'll go ahead and add a couple pictures of some of Rob's work in here so that you can see what he's doing and you can follow him on social media. And I have some friends who've been producers they've been on my show and have some more coming up. So we're all sharing each other's shows constantly. And so hopefully someone out there can see this and also want to contact you for work. I really appreciate you taking time to be on the show. I think this was a really fun, upbeat show. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Everybody listening out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely check Rob out on social media. Again, it's Joseph Rob Cobasky. And if you have any problems finding him, let me know. Check out my social media because the links will be in there. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. You can listen. Yeah, you're welcome. You can listen on 18 AM FM radio stations across the United States. You can watch this on Amazon TV, Roku, and every single podcast platform out there. So again, thank you so much, Rob, for being on the show. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Until next Friday, I'm Patti Katter, and you've been listening to Wake Up with Patti Katter.
Thank you for listening to Wake Up with Patti Katter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do.
Follow Patti at Patti Katter on Facebook and Instagram.
Get social.
You can now watch Wake Up with Patti Katter on Amazon TV and Roku.
It's the only podcast I listen to.
Be sure to check out Patti's apparel line, The Patriotic Mermaid, at thepatrioticmermaid.com and on social media at The Patriotic Mermaid.
I love it.